Straight Talk with Enlightened Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and his sidekick Shanan Jones. Frank discussions of issues affecting the ATL, Fulton County, the state of Georgia, the nation, and around the world. And now, here they are, live and in living color, the team of Jones and Fann, the Preacher Man.
Well, welcome today to Straight Talk with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and none other with my good colleague and friend and co-host, who's back this week from a well-deserved, whatever he was deserving he did last week. I think he was on vacation,
No,
or something, whatever
no,
he
no,
was
not
doing.
not a vacation. As quick as it was, I was on a va, a va. I I never even got to the vacation. I was on a va.
Well, you wasn't here. I'll put it like that. You weren't here. Let's go Braves. Let's go Braves. Let's go Braves. You see me wearing my Brave hat today. Oh, man, I tell you, the Braves, we went to a Brave game this past weekend with Voter Empowerment Collaboration, VEC, better known as VEC. And we had a group of about 30 kids that's a part of the VEC's group, YCI. It's a group of youth community influencers. And Shanan, I tell you, I'm so proud of these young people that's stepping up to the plate. I just saw a clip that was sent. This young man who was speaking before a group of lawyers, Letitia Games and all of those lawyers in New York, and was talking about we as young people, we're ready. We want y'all to teach us. We want to look because we see what's going on. We know the Constitution. We learned the Constitution. And he talked about some of the things that Trump was saying, have been saying, and some of the things that's going on. But we're going to talk about it a little bit more on the other side, Shannon. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to unpack today. I had Elson McGee. Elson gave a nice clip, and I was going to use him this week. But Elson, we're going to do you next week for the veterans and what's going on with the vets and how the veterans are upset with a lot of stuff that the president is doing and how he's using veterans and how he even locking up veterans. It is really, and we're going around the world with Straight Talk with yours to the Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Shanan E. Jones. News and information. We don't have Miss C this week, but me and Shanan will be back on the other side, and we got more and more that we want to impact. And listen, welcome back. Well, we got a big event coming up, and it's called Boys to Bend, Rites to Passage Summit on the 2025. It's going to be Wednesday, July the 9th from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. at the College Park Arena. And Shannon, you want to talk a little bit about what this is all about?
Absolutely, this has been a movement and a passion of my father. He went last year and had a conversation with Councilman Joe Carn about something to do with our young men in the city, really on the south side, South Fulton area. And they came up with the Boys to Men Rites of Passage Summit. This is the second one. And this year, we're targeting several folks. We're targeting Shaq if he's able to come. We're trying to see if he's going to be able to, and he's trying to work. They're trying to work his schedule to be able to get him to be there. But Chick-fil-A and Blimpies have come along to help us. We saw last year that 94% of our young men, 94% of our young men had never tied a tie, didn't know how to tie a tie, didn't own a tie. And so we reached out to DNK and to KNG for one of those or both of those to set up a village or an area at the Boys to Men Rites of Passage Summit, to come and teach our young men how to tie a tie, to how to tie success, how to dress for success, and how that affects your thinking and how people view you as you're moving forward and navigating through life. So we're looking forward to that. We're also asking for one of them or both of them to give 20 suits to young men of various different ages. They'll get a certificate and be able to go to the store and be dressed for success. There are many workshops on visions and goals and health and hygiene, job skills, financial literacy. There's a workshop on consequences where young men who have been in the system for 5 to 10 years and who are out now matriculating through life come back and talk to these young men and say, you don't want to go here. There's manhood training. They're going to learn how to change a tire. About 500 young men will be with us for the day. And the idea is to just pour into their lives. At the end of it, we're asking for several. The goal was 100 pastors, 100 associate pastors, all men. We're asking for our men to come. We love our sister pastors, but for this event, it's a boys to men. We want the men to come and surround them. Spiritual men, men of God, to come and surround the boys, pastors, associate pastors, faith leaders, to come and surround them and to pray over them and speak into their lives. And that's how we'll conclude. There'll be plenty of games, plenty of prizes, and just a day to love on our young men, to tell them that they're important and to aim them towards a destiny for success. Thank you, Bishop Fann, for coming along and assisting with this. Southfield Ministerial Alliance, Concerned Black Clergy, and several others. We need to pour into our young men because they are our future and great is their destiny. Let us do what the Greek word says, kenosis. Let's empty ourselves into their lives so that they can go on and continue our journey further.
And that's going to be Wednesday, July the 9th.
That's
from 10
Wednesday, July
a.m.
9th.
From 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And it's going to be at the College Park Arena. That's July the 9th. And we'll be talking more about it from 10 to 3 p.m. Get registered, and let's help our young men to actually be men. All right, Shanan and I, we're back for that brief break. But Shanan, it's you. I know you're bubbling over with things that you really want to talk about. And what I'm gonna do today, I'm gonna let you take the lead on the conversation. Then I'm gonna jump in, and then you're gonna jump out. I'm gonna jump in. You're gonna jump out. I'm gonna jump in. You're gonna jump out, and I'm gonna jump in, and you stay out.
Okay. Well, all right now. Well, who's jumping first?
You jumping
Should I
first.
jump?
Yeah, you jumping first.
All right. Well, listen. Let's just go to the elephant in the room, and that is the Israeli Iranian crisis right now. The president is saying that he perhaps is going to move in. Within 2 weeks, he'll make a decision. He has put a large blockade of ships right there in the ocean, right off the coast of Iran, and in between Iran and Iraq. I guess that sea right at Kuwait. Those ships are there, and so that's serving as kind of a deterrent from Israel. Excuse me, from Iran being able to launch large scale attacks at Iran. So it's just really interesting to see what's going to happen there. And listen, there's certain things when my father always said to me that when someone attacks you, then you fight, right? And you don't start the fight, but always finish it. Okay.
Right. That was a saying that we all heard, is that you don't
Yeah.
start one, but you
Don't
finish one.
start it,
But let me just stop you for
but
just for a
finish it.
minute. Let me just stop you for a minute. When you
Yeah.
said he said 2 weeks he's gonna make a decision. Do you know
Yeah.
every time that Donald Trump got to make a decision, he said, "Oh, I'll make a decision in 2 weeks." Everything he said, you just go back into regular. I'm gonna make a decision in 2 weeks on the tariff. I'm gonna make 2 weeks
Tariffs.
on this, 2 weeks on this, everything that's a decision he's got to make. He's gonna in 2 weeks he's gonna make a decision on whatever it is that is going on. I don't know. He's a 2 week decision man.
Yeah, there's different types of men. There's a 1 minute man. They say there's a 10 minute man, and there's a 2 week man. And he's a
Oh,
2 week man. It takes him.
But you said, are you told 2 week in like WEEK or WEK?
TOOWEAK.
I'm just trying to figure out what. Wait, oh, yeah,
TOOWEAK
yeah,
is
okay.
how they're seeing him. That's how they're viewing him. That's why he left Canada,
Right.
because he wasn't the star of the show anymore. So they had him over there, were snickering about him and whatnot, and so he got out of there. So the thing is like my father taught me. He said, if somebody messes with you, no one has messed with the U.S. This is not the U.S.'s fight. What this is a fight that goes way back. It's a biblical fight.
It is. Truly
I
it
mean,
is.
this is what we call an eternal conflict that will continue. And I understand that, you know, my father always said to me also that you have to defend your friends. Don't let anyone attack your friends. So, you know, if your friend is in trouble, you get in there and you help your friend. And, you know, the United States and Israel is an ally to the United States. But did you know that at one point in time, if you go back when the Shah of Iran was in office, and Bishop, you'll remember this,
I do. I do.
Iran was America's ally.
Oh.
Israel was America's ally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Israel and Iran and the U.S. got together, and there was a great relationship between them until the overthrowing of the Shah. And the Shah was a pretty corrupt dude. Uh, you know, there was a price to pay. He was a friend of the U.S. and Israel, but at the expense of his people. And they rose up, threw him out, and then Khomeini comes out of Algiers and comes to take over control and create a theocracy in Iran, and you know that was 1979, the Carter administration, the Bush administration, and you get what you get today. This fight is not a fight that the United States wants to get in, okay, for publicity purposes for this president, or to use a war to hide the fact that his big, beautiful bill is not
Come on,
going anywhere.
come on. Look, can I jump in there? Can I jump in there?
Come
You
on
just
in,
hit.
come on in, come on. I'm double dutching. You just come on in, come on in.
Listen, I want to jump in now. The big beautiful bill. The big beautiful bill is having big problems.
Big problem.
Big problem. He's got people in his own party and saying even Margaret Tell a Lie is against the big bill. Really, I'm like, God Almighty.
And she's against them in Israel,
And it's
on
against him
Israel.
in Israel. It's just against him in Israel. And then you got I know he flip flops though, but I'll just say Lindsey Graham a little bit. Lindsey Graham. I mean, you got a lot of the so-called maggots. Excuse me, the maggots part, the maggot party, the maggot, maggot. What is it? The maggots or maggots, whatever they are. That party, that party. The Make America Worse party, worse than what it was party. That party, that party. That's the part I'm talking about. That's the party I'm talking about. But listen, that bill, in that bill, there's so much stuff that's in that bill, and we talked about this before in terms of all the things that are in the bills and in bills. They're putting stuff that should not be in the budget bill in terms of policies that should not be there. And some of those people like Ron Paul and some of those, that's amazing, isn't it? How some of those mainstream long life Republicans are jumping to get. No, we haven't heard from the old Mitch. Old Mitch been real quiet. Old Mitch been real quiet. He's just easing on out. He's easing on out, Mitch, because he's easing on out. But I'm looking at all of these people. I see a lot of the Republicans. I'm seeing more and more Republicans now moving over to the side of, hey, we got to put a handle on this thing. You know what it reminds me of, Shannon? It reminds
What's
me
that?
of the era of Reconstruction when the Republicans controlled, and we just come out of Juneteenth, right? This is history here. The Republicans controlled the Congress, right? And the Republicans were the one that was fighting for the rights of black people to get, the 14, 15, the 13, 14, 15 amendments, right? Got
Right.
those amendments passed. But what happened was, and then when Andrew Johnson got to be the president, right? What Andrew Johnson did was he was a Dixiecrat, and all those Southerners who had the plantations, right? When the Union Army came in and ran them out off of their plantation, they gave that land to the freemen, right? So the freemen had the land, but then when Andrew Johnson got it, he gave pardon. Hey, this Donald Trump now. He gave pardon to the Southerners who owned those plantations, and then turned around and gave the plantation back to the people who he took it from, right? And then here we go. The black people who were given, the free men who were given the property, now here they are. They having to be back on the property, but they're now sharecroppers, and they're now working on the property they were slaves on, but they're still slaves again because they didn't have no other way of making money other than what they were doing and what they knew how to do, and that was a farm and agriculture and provide cotton. And the reason the northern people got with them is that cotton was one of the biggest sellers for the United States of America. So even northern business people were losing money. They said, "Oh, we got to partner with these Democrats, these Southerners, in order to make sure that we keep a healthy economy for ourselves." So I mean, this is what I see now. I see the Republican Party doing what it's doing, but now I see the Republican Party breaking apart and coming back to some sense of reality. But it's all about economics. Going back to the budget though, it's all about economics because the budget is the driver for where the money's gonna go and who's gonna get the money and how much money they're gonna get. So and Trump doesn't understand an iota in my mind about a budget and a bill, and he didn't fill out with Elon, and he's filling out with so many other people. But Trump has never been loyal to nobody but Trump and his Bitcoin, because now he's trying to create his own wealth through Bitcoin, right? So it's a lot to unpack, Shannon. But I just wanted to just jump in right there at that point because at the end of the day, my late friend Bill McClure just said, at the end of the day, it's all about the money. Watch the money and where the money's going. Watch the money and where the money's going. Then you'll know what's really going on. So watch the money and where it's going. Somebody is fighting a big bill because some of their interest is being attacked in terms of their district or in terms of maybe their personal interest. But I saw the Republican senator, I can't remember the female name, but she was on there with Alan Ship out of California, and she was talking about them cutting Medicare and how many people in her state needs Medicare, and the cut that would be a devastation to her constituents. So I don't know if she has to run this year or not, because I haven't delved in it that far. But the reality of it is, a lot of them breaking rank with him because they do have to run this year. They do have to run, and they want to make sure that they get reelected. And he's lamed up. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
So I just wanted to interject that at that point. So now it's your time. Then I'll come back
in.
in.
It's time for me to jump in. I was looking for something that Marjorie Taylor Greene had said about the president. And hold on, I think I might have it, Bishop. She indicated, she didn't mention him by name, but she pretty much, she said, for decades, we've watched our men and women in uniform go all over the world and fight in wars that most Americans don't think that our country should have been in. Marjorie Taylor Greene told the Times last week, Americans are very sick. Nope, that's not it. That's not the quote. So I'll have to get that, and we'll have to bring that up at another time.
But I think what you just said though, a lot of people were upset about the Vietnam War that went on forever and ever, that people felt that we shouldn't have been in that war. So, and some people still to this day believe that we shouldn't have been in that war. So
we shouldn't have. I mean, look, if they get into this war, I mean, think about it. The U.S. was in Afghanistan for 20 years. I mean, you go in, Colin Powell says, if you break it, you're going to own it. They didn't listen to him. You break, you buy. They didn't listen to him. They sent him to the United Nations to lie, to get funding. I mean, to get Congress to back and fund the war, and to bring together global partners for the war. And in 2001, we start off with this thing, and I think they just flew out of Afghanistan. What was that? And people were on the planes, and the Biden administration. What was that? That was 2022, 2023.
It had to be 20. Was it? Yeah. Okay. While he was
2022.
Yeah, somewhere between 22 and 23. Last one that
2021,
came.
2022.
Yeah,
So that was 20 years.
yeah.
And then you talk about assassinating the Ayatollah. Are you crazy? I mean, you want to pick a fight with people. I mean, when I said my father taught me, said jump in a fight. Now, listen, he said sometimes you're going to lose. He said, but just if they started with you and you can't get out of it, he said, fight in a way that they might beat you, but they don't ever want to fight you again. You want to fight some folk that want you to kill them. They want to kill you and want you to kill them so they can get 77 virgin. You want to fight with someone that's in the fight, and you say, okay, well, what? All right, man, I'm sick of fighting. What's the negotiation? There is no negotiation. We're gonna either destroy you or you're gonna martyr us. But it goes back to the fact that this president, Bishop Fann, is just not a serious player. Where he is not right now is in jail. And so he ran to make sure. Don't ever forget that he was not running to kiss babies or to fix the economy for toothless white folk. He was running to get power, stay out of prison.
Well,
And so
well,
he's not in prison, huh? Go ahead. Well,
no,
he's
no.
not in prison.
I was just gonna say this. I wanted to jump in at that point when you said that he's not in prison for
Right.
anybody. Not the president run for president for anybody. Nobody but himself, because he's self-serving. And that's
Right.
all. He didn't care about whether you were black, white, Asian, Indian, Hispanic, whatever. He didn't care. He doesn't care. He's showing us by all the things that he's doing that destroying this country and having all these militia. That's what I'm going to call them. They're the militia. Starting martial law and all these other things, going in the states and actually taking over those states under the guise we're running the undesirables out of your state. This is the state that I'm the governor of. So you won't. I hear Gavin Newsom, that it's got to be painful for him because he's taking the control of the governor of the state of California away from him by doing the things that he's doing that the governor cannot stop. I mean, bringing in the National Guard, bringing in Marines, into a democratic state. Obviously, he bring them into a democratic state, a state that was totally a democratic state. And so he brought them in, and he's doing the things that he's doing, just disrupting the lives of people and families and all that. That's a form of what slavery did. I mean, you're going in and you're separating people from their children and parents and all of this, and then you can feel good about it. What if it was somebody separate you from your kids from you or your family from you? And without even justification, there's no justification, no due process, none of that. And then people are going along with it and say, well, it's all right. But let me share something with you, Shanan. I was going with the cotton thing, but I'm going to just share this with you. They used us to pick the cotton. That's how they made their money, off of us picking cotton, right? And the cotton was
Right.
a great commodity. Now when they lost us picking the cotton, then they brought the Hispanics in here, the Asian and other groups in here that pick the cotton and then pick the strawberry, to pick the peaches and all of that. Now he's done all that he's done. Now the fields, fruit is ripening on the vine and everything. There's no one out there to pick it anymore. He's got people running and hiding and hoping that they don't come where they at on their job. They tell them to go down to the National Office of Nationalization Office to get certified, but the ICE people standing there waiting on them to lock them up. I mean, it's just crazy, man. It's crazy what he's doing. It's insane. It's crazy. It's messing up. People don't know if they're going left, if they're going right. Do they have a home? Are they free? Am I a citizen? Am I really a citizen of this country? Even though I was born in this country, my parents may be from Mexico. My parents may be from Asia. My parents may be from some other region. But am I a natural citizen of the United States based upon what the 15th Amendment said? Am I really born because I'm born here in the United States of America? Am I really a citizen? Not by his law, you're not. not by the way that he's interpreting the Constitution, and not by Pam Bundy and her department and her Justice Department is interpreting the Constitution, and perhaps not even by the Supreme Court and how they interpret the 15th Amendment in terms of who is, how are you made a naturalized citizen of the United States, born here, not naturalized in terms of you came here and then you got naturalized by reading, knowing the Constitution and those things you had to go to become considered a naturalized citizen of the United States of America. So I'm jumping in here, Shannon. I want us to dig deep in this thing because this thing is deep. It's deeply
Well,
rooted with hate.
well, deeply rooted with hate. Well, the president is not even looking to the Supreme Court. He has created, in his mind, in his thinking, he's created his own Justice Department, which to him is the interpretation of the law. For him, Pamela Bondi's, as Attorney General, her Justice Department, or Trump's Justice Department, is what he clears what he wants to do, or they clear what he wants to do, and they interpret the law and bend it towards him to be able to do what he does. For instance, you talked about naturalized citizens.
Right.
Well, my wife's a naturalized U.S. citizen. And there's concern in the naturalized U.S. citizen community that perhaps that if they're too vocal, that the Attorney General could literally, through the executive, remove their right to be a U.S. citizen and deport them back to the country of their origin. All right. I know you were talking about the fact you were talking about the 15th Amendment in terms of the Africans
Right.
that became African Americans that were born on U.S. soil, and that has been settled. But there is an interpretation by a bird-brained president who is forcing a Justice Department to usurp the authority of the Supreme Court and to allow him to do what he wants to do. And they're moving quickly to do what they want to do so that by the time the Supreme Court rules, they've already done it. Then it becomes well, we've done this. I don't know how we walk this back. I don't know how we do that. I'm going to tell you how we do it. When the Supreme Court orders Pamela Bondi to be arrested, that's how they do it for breaking the law and for usurping her authority as the Attorney General. How do we stop it? You stop it. You said Gavin Newsom. When you send your troopers in the state of California to arrest the president's ICE czar, arrest him. The cabinet secretary that is going around with ICE. The national, she's what position? I can't think of her name. The governor, North Dakota governor. What is her name?
I can't think of her name. But we talked about
but
that
she's
last
over.
week.
She's over Homeland Security. The Homeland Security Secretary.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Arrest her. Arrest her. And let the court. By Trump, you don't have the authority to do it. I tell you what. You don't have the authority to take a United States senator and throw him on the ground and cuff him for asking the Homeland Security Secretary a question. So we're going to throw you on the ground in my state because I'm the chief executive of my state, talking about Gavin Newsom.
Right.
All right. And I'm going to arrest you in this state. And we'll let the courts or whoever else work out whatever. But you're going to sit in that jail with them Crips and them Bloods, because I'm going to put your butt in the Compton City Jail. That's where I'm going to put you. And you get in there when they ask you what you in for, you tell Chico and them what you was in for. That's what I think that needs to happen. There needs to be some boldness that shocks, when a heart is stopped, it takes the electricity of shock to bring it back together. And this nation needs a shock to go against the machinations of a president that is playing everybody against the middle, who's really not serious with what he's doing. And he's playing with presidential power and hasn't yet understood the fact that this is very serious. Your joking, your playing, your lack of seriousness will cause American young soldiers, men and women, to lose their lives. You want to? I was going to kill. He says he was going to kill that he told Israel not to kill the Ayatollah. Okay, but I may. Anybody ever heard of a guy called Salman Rushdie who wrote a book almost 30 years ago, and they put a fatwa on his life? And 30 years later, after Khomeini is dead, but there's a new Ayatollah. Khomeini, as this new Ayatollah is still there, they tried to kill Salman Rushdie about 3 years ago. These are not the type of people that you just play games with, because you'll be sitting up in the United States of America and a mall can blow up, a movie theater can blow up, a school can blow up, a Walmart can blow up, an airport can blow up.
Twin Towers blow up.
I
Come
mean,
on,
you
Shannon, come on.
understand? And you would have said, you said that I'm not going to kill Khomeini, at least not yet. You're going to make a statement like that, as though presidents talk. What are you, Tony Soprano? Who are you that presidents don't talk that way? They don't. In fact, if it happens by SEAL teams and CIAs and secret. You don't sit up and talk about who you're gonna kill, because that'll come right back on, and you put U.S. workers that are working in the Middle East, that are non-military. You put their lives in danger all throughout that area, all throughout, Americans going to vacation in Dubai. You put them in danger because you're playing games, because you're trying to get folks not to look at the fact that you are a legislative failure, and ultimately that you are an executive failure. So that's my 2 cents. I'm jumping off. You jump in.
Yeah, well, let me, I want to jump in just like this right here. What you have unpacked it a lot. You've said a lot, and a lot of people feel that way when you disrespect the office of a U.S. senator. And I talked about that last week. And you want to let him ask you a question, and you have him removed from the room and manhandle him, right? But he was a senator. He was the senator, the senior senator of the state of where? California.
California.
So we have to really look at what's really, really going on, because this is not The Apprentice. This is not a movie. This is not a show. This is live people live. This is people live.
That's right.
Livelihood.
That's right.
I mean, these are human beings that you're dealing with. These are not checkers on a chessboard. No, these are individuals. You like, this is the pawn, this is the knight. Well, we're gonna move this way. Oh, we're gonna no. These are people with families. These are people with problems, and you compounding those problems over and over with your insensitiveness and your lack of concern and issue for the people. As a man of God, and a prophet, as a man of God, not a priest, but a prophet, but as a man of God, I'm sharing this with any of you who do those things, who do not understand that it's coming back to you or your generation, the children after your children, the grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, because it's going to fall on you. Wickedness someone will be punished because of your sin. Someone will be punished because of your sin. Because if you do not do as the word of God said, for the least, the less, the lost, and the left out, he said you're going to that place. And you will be going to that place, really. And so what I want to share with you today, what I want to share with those of you who, as the Bible said, Revelation said, for those who have ear to hear what the Spirit is saying unto the churches. You are the church. Each individual is the church. He is saying to us, and if you read the 7 churches of Asia Minor, he spoke to all of them. Only 2 of them he said he didn't have a problem with. But God's got a problem with us. He's got a problem with us because we're not standing up. We're not speaking up. And I'm talking to the men and women of God. We're not standing up. We're not speaking up. We're not speaking telling people that God is still yet in control, and we need to speak out on the wickedness that's being perpetrated and not be afraid. Not be afraid. That's why I say, as a prophet, prophets wasn't afraid. The priest at the king table and took his proclamation and went to his affairs and all that. But the prophet was out there calling out wickedness, the evil, the injustice. We must call out the injustice because God is holding us account if we do not speak truth to power, if we do not share with our people, the parishioners that God has put in under us, the sheep that He's given us, the shepherd. Listen, if we don't tell them as we used to do, as the old preachers used to do on Sunday morning, they get up and they'll tell people about what's going on in the city. Watchmen, what of the night? I never forget the sermon. Reverend Abernathy preached that sermon. Watchmen, what of the night? We got to tell them about what's going on, and God is holding us accountable for it, not just when it's election time, talking about, well, vote for this and don't vote for that one. No. We got to let them know, some of us who look like us, we need to be telling them they need to get right and do it now, because there's too much wickedness and evil in the land. Don't fall on the sword running after money and greed and jealousy and selfish and image, because you will be held in account. You will be held in account. And I thank you so much, Shanan, for all that you said, and thank you for joining the day and being on Straight Talk, man. And don't go no more vocation, whatever you call, what you call them thing.
The vibe. But can I say one thing before we go?
Sure.
Revelation 13:4 said people worship the dragon because he had given authority to the beast. And they also worship the beast and ask, who is like the beast? Who can wage war against it? Verse 5, 13:5, Revelation. The beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies, and to exercise its authority for 42 months. That's 3 years and 6 months. It opens its mouth to blaspheme God, and to slander his name. I alone can fix it. And his dwelling place and those who live in him. It was the beast was given power to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them. And it was given authority over every tribe of people, every language and nation. All inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast. All those whose names have not been written in the Lamb's book of life.
That's it.
The Lamb who was slain from the creation of the world. 3 months, 3 years, 6 months. This is looking close to home.
The word of God for the people of God. Thank God.
Thanks be to God.
You ain't been in tune to nothing but Straight Talk with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Shanan E. Jones. That's Shanan E. Jones, Big Papa, and yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man. Join us each and every week right here on Around the World with news and information. And Miss C was ill this week. Y'all keep Miss C in prayer. Please keep her in prayer.
Yes.
And keep her lifted up. Won't you do that for us? Until next week, this ain't been nothing but Straight Talk. You like us, subscribe to our channel, make comment, share, and you can send, if you want to be on, go to Straight Talk News 1362 at gmail.com. And this ain't been nothing but what, Shanan?
Straight Talk.
Straight Talk. Want to be a guest on Straight Talk? Email Greg Fann at FANN922 at Comcast.net or call 404-308-0795. Join us again for another episode of Straight Talk with Shanan Jones and Greg Fann, the Preacher Man.